So now in studio, we are joined by mother and daughter, Hayley and Cheryl Rose. It's so nice to have the two of you on the show. It's been a real struggle. We heard earlier that you were diagnosed when you were 6, I believe, with 2 types of epilepsy. And it seems like it's just been an absolute struggle ever since. Can you tell us a little bit of, your first experiences with, I guess, pharmaceuticals or the experience there?
Our first experiences was when she was 6, between 6 and 7. They tried a few different pharmaceuticals. They were not working. They didn't really know exactly what was going on at that point. Thought it was seizures, weren't 100% sure. Tried her on a few different seizure meds. It wasn't helping.
How many seizures was she having?
In the beginning, they were kind of sporadic. So it wasn't like they were always happening. It kind of progressed and it escalated over the years. So
how terrifying is it for those that are watching and will watch the show later? How terrifying is it to watch?
Well,
how scary is it for you?
One
Yeah.
time, I scared lots of people on the airplane having a seizure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really bad, and I felt bad for scaring their kids.
You felt that?
Aw, no.
Well,
But
they're just little kids, and they were all staring at me, and they had the fright of the look, and they were so afraid.
How scary was it for you?
To me, I don't feel anything, but I feel bad for scaring all those. If they're scaring other people with it, I don't want to scare them.
No, I appreciate that. What about you, Mom? How scary is it for you?
Well,
Especially at the beginning, I imagine. Mind you, maybe it doesn't get any easier ever.
it doesn't. I mean, the only difference from the beginning is in the beginning, you have no idea that that's going to happen. And then over the years, it's been 18 years now, but still, every time my heart just jumps, you constantly are on edge, waiting for the next one to strike. And when they happen, it's, part of you wants to cry, part of you just can't breathe. Every parent that Dr. Kevin Farrell, he was the head of neurology when we started there at BC Children's. He told me he's never met a parent, especially a mother, who doesn't have PTSD due to the stress and the anxiety that is brought about. I mean, you're watching your child because of the type of condition. You have no idea, are they going to come out of it? Are they not? Where's this going to lead?
So, sorry, just because you talk about the stress, and so you talk about the stress of dealing with the condition, what about the stress in dealing as you're looking for help? Different kind of stress, but I would think just as overwhelming.
Yeah, it is, because a lot of times when you're dealing with these type of severe seizure conditions, everything they're doing is just basically educated guesses. Because there's only so many things out there, and they can try them. There's things that are, we know that this type of drug might help more, or this one might, and we try them, and, whether or not they work, you never really know. And I looked all over for doctors all over, and I really didn't get any different answers from anywhere around the world, so.
So we obviously talked a little bit earlier, and you were saying that you yourself had decided that you wanted to try the route of trying cannabis. And that you had gone to California, you were searching for a doctor, somebody who could help. And eventually, the first time you were able to give it to your daughter, can you kind of describe that day and how that felt? And
I was terrified because I was about to break the law and give my daughter a medication that I couldn't find at any doctor anywhere that was willing to even look at. The reason why I chose to do that was because in January, I think it was January 6, 2008, I was told that my daughter don't plan on school for September, and she would not be here for Christmas.
And she's what, 8 then?
She was 15 when they told me that I had to start grief counseling and prepare for her to say goodbye.
And look at you now.
Oh, yeah.
Grown up into a beautiful young lady.
So obviously at that point you go, I got no choice. Like, if not now, when?
Well, it was about 5 months after they told me that, and I just went, you know what? The only thing, I'm going to lose my daughter no matter what, if I have to try. And it was the single most best decision I've ever made in my life. Yeah.
Because we tried every single med, and there was this last med, and it didn't help. So that's when we had to start trying cannabis, because that was our only last hope.
Yeah.
There was, it was a last resort. And quite honestly, cannabis needs to be thought of as a first option, not a last resort.
And because we tried every single one, and that was our last one we tried, every single pill, that was the only way out, was to get the medicine, because the last pill didn't even help at all. And the other
Right.
pills that were in that are all there, that all of them, they weren't working, they weren't helping at all. They were just, some of them were causing hallucinations, and really bad ones. One time, hallucination, I was picking diamonds on my I thought I had diamonds in my skin,
Yeah,
and I kept on picking it out. And
some of them are really severe.
Then I had to, and that's this kind of type of seizure.
Aye.
That's a certain
I
type
bet
of
you're happy
seizure.
your mom like forced through and did that to get you onto the cannabis.
Yeah,
right?
it's another way how you can do a seizure, and you can have a seizure really easily. Because one of the seizures I even have is I have a ventilating,
Yeah, when she was young.
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
can still maybe do it a little, but not as much.
Yeah. They're different seizure types. She has 5 different seizure types. So.
Quality of life before and after. Apple, like, you're laughing like it's not even a question. You can't even.
Before, every time she seized, we didn't know how much was coming back. We were literally losing her every time she seized. I didn't know what abilities were going to come back. I had no idea if she was going to come back, because she goes into subclinical, it's non-convulsive epileptic status epilepticus, and it's so you don't even know. She just is like catatonic. So you just don't know. You never really know how much is coming back. Is she going to make it the next time? And to now, I mean, the difference. I mean,
Right.
she's talking, she's reading. The leaps and bounds over. We're going to be a decade in May this year of Hayley using medical cannabis, and I can tell you the long-term effects are amazing. The ability to learn, retain. I mean, just
Because
really great.
when I was younger and I didn't take Hayley's Comet or any other meds like that, I had troubles reading. And now that I've been on it, I can read a book that has 799 pages.
Wow.
Awesome.
And I used to only be able to read books like this thin,
Aye.
and this thin, and this thin, and then this thin.
And now you
But
can
I
read an
couldn't read
encyclopedia.
before. I had to have lots of help back then, because there was lots of things, but I wasn't that good at reading or drawing or that much stuff. Maybe drawing more, but reading was too hard for me that back then. But now I can read perfectly now because
Much
of
better.
That's
the
awesome.
medicine.
Cheryl, do you ever get mad that it took you breaking the law to get the help you needed before it
Oh,
finally?
yeah.
Like, now, obviously, things are evolving. Now things are different than when you started, obviously.
My biggest regret
But-
was not breaking the law sooner.
Yeah, so I was wondering.
It straight up, it is my number one regret, that was not breaking the law sooner in order to give it to her when I first thought, hey, maybe we better look at this. I really wish I had. I am so happy to see so many children and families now, and just in general, people who are finding incredible health benefits and quality of life and quantity of life. Just it's wonderful to see it, over these last how many years, especially the children, right? Because it really is about being a first line of defense instead of a last line of defense.
What would you say to family members, anyone pretty much watching the show, who are reluctant or against it? And because there's still a lot of people who are quite close-minded to the thought, especially giving it to a child. right? What would you say to somebody like that?
When you look at your options between medical cannabis and you're looking at whether or not it's a high CBD, a THCA strain, or a THC, and CBD isn't just the only one that helps seizures. There really is an entourage effect, and different people need different ratios of the different cannabinoids and the terpenes in it. What I say is Dilantin, majorly, as well as the other medications she has, cause severe osteoporosis and deterioration of literal jaw bones, as well as other medical issues. She has to take different supplements and stuff now as well to try combat 18 years of pharmaceuticals. The side effects that you can have with some of these pharmaceuticals that we have to give our children are severe addiction and the potential to kill them. And as I said, it's all educated guessing is what the doctors have to do. And they are basing that based on what they think will work. Well, with cannabis, it's not going to deteriorate your bones. It's not going to cause those specific things that long-term pharmaceuticals can. So if you can start with a natural medicine like that, you are much better off. If you end up having to, because these are a monster of conditions, if you end up having to utilize another, pharmaceuticals, because some people do, like Hayley, she still requires some, at least you've gone the first step with trying to avoid having to. And if you have to add them in, it might be a few years down the road, so you're less damaged. And that's really what's important. And a lot of people go, oh, but the doctor said this pill. Read up on what that pill can actually do. I've had nurses yell at me going, how did you find out that drug does that? And I went, you know what, I looked it up.
Yeah, exactly. They're always amazed when you look something up.
They didn't even want me to know.
Tell us about the Hayley Rose Foundation.
Well, it was started based on what Hayley wanted to see, and the fact that our struggle in trying to get access to it and wanting to see other access and wanting to see research done. And we worked with the incredible Dr. Paul Hornby, and Hayley said,
Can I say?
What?
I said,
Yep.
they asked me, they gave me some, they were giving me it, and to me, but I told them, maybe you should think of giving it to other people, even if they don't have enough money. Like, for example, people who live on the street, they need to get well, and if somebody else is going to help them get well, the longer you wait, the longer it's going to take to get them well, and then at some point it's going to be too late. That's why I just put my foot down and just said,
Good for you.
and just said, help the others, even if they don't have any money or to live on the street, because some people can't pay for it, and some people can. But then again, some people live on the street that have really they are too sick or in pain and stuff, because you could get really hurt. And so people on the street deserve to have that too, or even people who barely have any money, or even who don't have money.
Oh, that's,
if I didn't do that,
Who
they
would?
wouldn't have shared it with everyone. They would have shared it just with me. And
Well, it was going out, but Hayley's
I mostly
really,
had to put my foot down to do it.
and yeah, she was like, Mom, I want you to make sure that if anybody can help, you have to help them. So,
so that was quite a big task she gave you.
yeah, it was. You
asked
have to
them-
help them. You have to make sure they get access to
Yeah, I asked
medicine.
them to think about it first and tell me what you think about, and then they agreed with me.
Yeah,
Awesome.
but
Then I got this all done.
Such a brave thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're doing that. You're worried about how the kids on the airplane, if you're scaring them. You're unbelievable. You think more about other people than almost all of us do.
I think more about other people. Ever since when I was little, I always wanted to help people like that, like people who don't even have homes or barely any clothes and bad water. I always
And
wanted to help.
sometimes
That's been my dream, to help people to get well instead of having them suffer. I always wanted to help people, but since I was too young back then, and
Not
have
anymore.
And you have a voice
Not
now,
anymore, now you
too.
can-
You're all
yeah.
grown up.
now I'm just
That's awesome.
doing that now.
I think we have a question from
We
the
do. We have a
audience.
question here. It's from Elena, and she asks, Hayley, how did you take your medicine while you were attending school?
I had to use a vaporizer, and then I used a vaporizer pen.
And you also took capsules as well.
Yeah, capsules.
It's amazing how that technology, like as you said, when we were talking before the show, you had to buy one of those volcano vaporizers.
start,
Yeah, like 'cause that's what was out. That was the technology, and in that decade, whether it's pills, the vaporizer pen, like it's amazing how things have changed and have made it easier.
But it was
for you-
mostly the vaporizer pen that I had before then, and then I did the candy cap.
Right.
Yeah, well, actually, we got the canna caps into the school system. Vaporizer took a little bit longer to get in, but there was Dr. Paul Hornby and our doctor created a protocol, and then I worked with teaching the nurses and the staff how to administer it, load and unload
Right.
the vaporizer, and it actually was allowed in the classroom to be administered as needed for emergency purposes.
So Tracy asks, do you know any other young people, or have you met anyone who are also using cannabis?
Yes, I do, and he's sicker than me.
There's
He's
several.
very sick, and he has some of my kind of seizures. He takes the same, and he takes Hayley's comment like me,
And
but he has a really bad one that before he couldn't keep contact, but now he can. But he still has lots of trouble, and like you know how some people usually are like blacked out, and they're like you kind of have to make it look like acted out like baby stuff.
Yeah.
to get them.
Because some of them go like this, and they're not paying attention
Right.
really, and they can't understand and talk to you or something, and they just have to go like this.
Right.
They're having a harder time
Yeah.
communicating. Yeah.
I have a friend that is like that, and it's very sad because he had lots of seizures back then, and he doesn't have lots, but he still has tons and
still
tons of
has some.
seizures, a lot more than me.
And
You know,
there's other families and children that we've met throughout the way. Got a few other friends and kids that have been using her strain as well as other strains, different CBD. And
I guess it's a trial and error kind of thing too. You're
it is.
constantly.
It's very individual to each individual person as to what they actually need.
Right.
But we've gotten the pleasure to meet multiple families and get to meet their kids and hear their stories, and that's one of the best things.
So the Hayley Rose Foundation, we had the address up there a couple of
Check that
times.
out.
You can go to it, you can check it out, get involved, help in any way. I got to say, this is 6 weeks in. Hayley, you're my favorite guest
Yeah.
we've had so far. You're fantastic. So I really want to say thank you so much for coming in. I can't, I should think about other people as much as you do. I would be a better person. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
We
and
really
thanks
appreciate
for coming
it.
all the way out
Yes.
to come sit with us on the new white couch.
And Cheryl, yes, thank you too.
Oh, yeah. And thank you for raising
Thank you.
such an amazing daughter who's
Yes.
obviously,
She
making
keeps me
changes
in
in the
check.
world.
Yeah, no, all of
Yeah.
us. Thank you so much. Hayley and Cheryl Rose. And again, you can check out the foundation, the Hayley Rose Foundation. You can go online, check it out, see if you want to get involved in what you can do.